Today's talk is about the pineal gland, and I did promise in the intro to this show that I would talk about my experience at opening my pineal gland. So you can call it pineal gland, people call it all different things, but if I switch terms, I'm still referring to the same thing. So let's start off. I did open up my pineal gland. I did a meditation, and it was really amazing, and following the meditation I will explain to you what happened. But firstly, before I dive into my personal experiences on opening my own pineal gland, I'm going to talk about firstly, what is the pineal gland, where is it, what does it do? So what made me want to open my pineal gland, and that was reading Dr. Dispenza's book Becoming Supernatural, and I have it here. That's his book. As you can see, I don't just read books, I study them. Look at all my notes, crazy, lots of highlighting going on and crazy stuff. But anyway, I just found this book really did change my life. I can honestly say it changed my life. It changed the way that I think completely, that after reading this book, I cannot be the same person that I was before. I just can't go back to who I was before. Now that I have all this new knowledge. If anybody's interested in this book, please go ahead and find it at your local library or buy a copy. I bought mine from Big W. It was $19. It's the best $19 I ever spent. I have learnt so much, phenomenal stuff. This guy, Dr. Joe Dispenza, has actually also put a series, I think it's 13 episodes, don't quote me on that, but they're about half an hour long, and it's aired on Gaia TV, Gaia. It's sort of like a Netflix, but for spiritual people, or just people who are inquisitive and want to know about the pyramids and, you know, all these amazing unexplained stories, if you like. So please, check that out. So let's go into the pineal gland. So the pineal gland is located deep inside the middle of our brain. It is really, really tiny. I have little pictures here to show you the location. So let's just try to get this right here. So this little bit here, I hope that's in focus, is the pineal gland. It's right in the middle of the brain, okay? So what does it do? Well, I've also written notes. I'm just going to refer to my notes. But basically, it is responsible for melatonin production, melatonin and serotonin. So that is what programs our morning and night and how we sleep, okay? That's what it is, circadian rhythms, all right? So you probably already know all about this, but so melatonin, serotonin, circadian rhythms, that's what the pineal gland has been known for by researchers, okay? And that's when I started researching on the internet by, you know, Western information, I'm going to call it, the Western world information. That's all that is sort of out there on it. But if you look more deeply into it, there seems to be much more attached to the pineal gland. There's much more that it does than meets the eye. And I can't help but feel that this information is almost like a bit of a secret. It's like we're not meant to know about it. Receiving this information and understanding it has made me feel like, this is going to sound weird, but this is what it makes me feel like. Like I'm a car, and I'm a new car with all these buttons that were in a hidden compartment, buttons and levers that did amazing, that if you pressed or activated these buttons and levers, this car could do amazing things. Like maybe the car could fly. Maybe it would become airborne and start flying, or maybe... Anyway, what I'm trying to say is I'm discovering things like the pineal gland and what it can do, and it's just, it's like I'm in a new car trying out all buttons, which is my own body, and I'm working out what I'm capable of doing as an individual, and it's remarkable. Our brains are an amazing thing. So going back to the pineal gland, that's where it's located, deep inside the center of the brain. So the pineal gland, it sort of looks like a pine cone. So I'm just showing you another picture. So it sort of looks like a pine cone. It's in the shape of the pine cone. And on the outer surface, it has this cilia. Okay? So cilia at the end of the pineal gland. So the tiny cilia of the pineal gland become stimulated as the cerebrospinal fluid accelerates through the ventricular system. What is that? If you want to know about things in more detail, please get this book. But Dr. Joe Dispenza talks a lot about meditation and basically squeezing your muscles. I'm going to say your inner core muscles from the bottom right up to the top, to the brain. He talks about squeezing this cerebrospinal fluid up the spinal column to activate the gland in the middle of our brain. And I guess acts like a bit of a transmitter or an antenna. Yeah, it can do amazing things. You can have quite an experience when this is achieved in meditation. If you can really get that pressure on the pineal gland, it activates the pineal gland and you can have an amazing experience in your head. I thought this was really interesting. Have you ever seen, I'm going to show this picture. Have you seen this picture? Does that remind you of Egypt and the pharaohs and Tutankhamun? Well, I thought that was just the eye, an eye. The third eye, the pineal gland or pineal gland is also known as the third eye. Okay, well, they call this the eye of Horus, the limbic brain and the pineal gland, because next to this picture here is a picture of the brain cut in half, and it's showing the pineal gland. And it looks like the eye, this is called the eye of Horus, which is featured in a lot of Egyptian things. It relates all to this stuff. So it goes way, way, way back. So can you see how it is very similar? Okay, so that's enough about this book. Now I'm going to run through with you signs that your third eye, because I'm going to refer to the pineal gland now as the third eye. Okay, so let's talk about signs your third eye is starting to see and it is opening. Okay, so we're going to talk about signs that your third eye is opening. So you can activate your third eye to open, and these are the signs. Okay, so a sign that your third eye is opening is that you have an increasing pressure in your head. Now, I can confirm this. I absolutely had that. I know this sounds crazy. And when I did the meditation to activate this, I didn't expect anything. I just thought, this is a bit of fun. I'm going to have a bit of fun and I'm going to see what this does. And if nothing, I had a great meditation. I relaxed. Anyway, when I did it, I could not believe the pressure that I had. It was a complete pressure between my eyes. It felt like, if I describe it to you, it felt like somebody put their heel of their foot in between my eyes and was pushing quite firmly, continuously through that meditation. Excuse me. So this is a sign that your third eye is opening. So I felt the growing pressure. Some other people feel, well, let's go through all of them. There's they get foresight, a sensitivity to light. Some people have gradual changes. Opening your pineal gland helps you manifest sort of powers. You can see beyond the obvious, and you have a heightened sense of self. Okay, so these are things that happen when you activate your pineal gland. So what a cool thing to experience. Increasing the pressure in your head. So this is the most common symptom of the opening the third eye. You'll begin to feel a growing pressure between your eyebrows. This can also be just a pulsing sensation or an intense sense that something is expanding in the middle of your forehead. I absolutely will confirm that today. That is exactly how I felt. Okay, so it's actually nothing to worry about. It's nothing to be frightened of, nothing to be scared of. It is completely benign and it will fade away as time passes. So for me, I felt it for a good hour afterwards, maybe even a little bit more, and then it subsided and I didn't feel it after that. They also say that it may seemingly come out of nowhere and that a feeling of warmth on your forehead, and as if someone were touching it. And this is normal too, and absolutely don't freak out. So number one sign that your third eye is opening is a pressure between your eyebrows in your third eye area. It can be pulsating, it can be tingling, and it can feel like a sense of warmth. A friend of mine did the same exercises in the same meditation, and they said they fell asleep in the meditation, but woke up the next morning with a pulsating, numbing, tingling, euphoric, That was their words, a euphoric sensation between their eyes and their forehead. So that was pretty cool too. They were quite amazed as well. Foresight. So you might experience instances of increased foresight of future events. It might just be a small tug in your stomach that alarms you to something going to happen before it does. Don't overlook this feeling or intuition, or let it guide you forward. Sorry, I am reading this because there's a lot of information I want to share today. It might be scary at first, but the moment you realize that this power is completely controlled by you, you will have an easier time letting it show you the way. Continuing on, the third eye is a great manifestation of psychic power. Okay, that is something that I couldn't find on Wikipedia. The third eye, I'll say it again, is a great manifestation of psychic power and deep insight. Okay, it enhances your intuition. I have such a crazy story to tell you at the end of all this information of what happened to me. It was so cool. Anyway, you may have experienced times when you felt that you could sense that something was about to occur days before it actually occurred. Okay, so this is what's going to happen if you open your pineal gland, perhaps for you. You will notice gradual changes because you are more in sync with your spiritual self. You will reap the benefits of your new view of the world. You will find that you are calmer, more forgiving and loving. Tick. That's a tick for me. Manifestation of powers is next. Contrary to popular belief, psychic powers manifesting in people who have an active third eye are not uncommon. Okay, telepathy and clairvoyance are two of the most prominent examples of this. No matter how unfamiliar this can be to you, you must not fret. Embrace your powers and nurture them. We all have this within us, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. We all have this within us. Okay, it is like if you imagine somebody's going to ring you, or you just have a feeling about something that you need to call somebody. These are things we're talking about, that it's subtle things. I'm not talking about, imagining the cross lotto numbers and, I'm talking about the subtle things in life. Moving along, seeing beyond the obvious. Okay, this resonates with me as well. So seeing beyond the obvious, what does that mean? So although it can be a burden to know and see more than everyone does, your third eye will enable you to spot half lies and shiny slogans. A restaurant that offers an all-you-can-eat assortment of food can be enticing to the normal individual, but for you, it will akin to an invitation to consuming more than you need. This clarity of thought will let you make the right decisions. And my final slide, heightening the sense of self. The final sign is one that many do not even take notice of. An open third eye will increase your sense of inner self. So instead of defining yourself as a mere person with interests, likes and dislikes, you will instead think of yourself as part of the fabric of the universe. This increased sense of self will enable you to rely more on yourself rather than anyone else and let you achieve the successful life you have always dreamed of having. Okay, so you realize you are not separated from anybody. We are all connected. Doing meditation too takes you to a place where you feel connected. You even disengage from your body and you literally can't feel your arms and legs. You're in this really nice spot and you feel connected to everything. There's nothing separate from you. So that's a nice feeling. So opening the pineal gland or stimulating the third eye or opening the third eye will do this as well. Experiencing the signs of an active third eye can be confusing and even downright scary if you do not know how to deal with them. Meditation and calming activities that let you have a deeper connection with your spiritual self will be your greatest asset. Regardless of the path you will choose, always know that all of these manifestations are a blessing that you should embrace, not hide. Okay, so all this stuff, some people are a bit, freaked out by it. They think, oh, it's evil. You shouldn't be exploring stuff like this. You could be letting in demons. You could be letting in negative energies that are going to be bad in your life. I just do not see it like that at all. It is not like that. It is truly, honestly not like that. So all this information I got today, I will put as a link. So that is the information I want to give you. Now, my experience. Okay, so I did a meditation. I can't remember how long it went for, but it went for, I don't know, half an hour, 40 minutes maybe. I will also put the link to that meditation below today. When I was doing this meditation, as I said, I didn't expect to feel anything. I thought, well, it's a bit of fun. And at the end of it, you know, if nothing happens, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to enjoy the meditation. But when I did it, this is going to sound crazy, but I'm being as honest as the left side of my brain, I became very aware that there were two hemispheres to my brain. And as we're going through this meditation, the left side of my brain literally, it shook. That is weird, isn't it? But the left side of my head went zzz, and my brain shook, but not the right side of my brain, just the left side shook. And I went, okay. I didn't snap out of the meditation. I just kept with it because I knew I was safe. I'm not doing anything wrong. I fully trust it. So I thought, God, that's never happened to me before. I've never felt my brain move or shake or tremor or anything. My brain is in my head. I don't feel my brain. But during this meditation, that's what happened. And the second thing that happened is that my ear, inside that space, I could hear a crackling sensation, like something was breaking down. Now, I'm not talking I had earwax and my ear was cracking. It wasn't an auditory thing. It was a weird sensation. It was not inside my ear, but my ear heard that in my head there was a cracking. And it literally sounded like something was crackling down. How bizarre is that? And I'm definitely couldn't be clearer to tell you that it was not an auditory thing. It wasn't, oh, I had sinus and my ear was crackling, there was mucus in my ear, there was earwax. It had nothing to do with that. It was separate from that. So they were two interesting things. And obviously, I already touched on the third thing, was the intense pressure between my two eyes. In fact, I loved it so much, I'm probably going to do it again. I want to see if this all happens again. But that's what happened. It felt like somebody's heel of their foot was pushing really firmly, continuously in between my eyes. Now, it did not hurt. It was just a really intense feeling that was amazing. I felt it working. Okay, so that night when I went to sleep, had a normal night's sleep, but I had this really vivid dream. And I haven't had a vivid dream for a long time. So in this dream, it was really weird. It was very quick, but it was very vivid. It was colorful. So I was sitting at a desk and I was looking down, talking to who I thought was a person from the past who I used to work with. I was talking. Then I looked up and I looked up at a man who was not the person I thought I was talking to, although it was an Asian man that I was talking to. So the person that I was talking to in my dream, his name was Dr. Gill. Okay, this was somebody I used to work with in the past, and I thought I was talking to him. But when I looked up, it was an Asian man like Dr. Gill, but it was not Dr. Gill. This man was standing there just looking at me with a pleasant look on his face, but he wasn't smiling, he wasn't communicating, he was just looking at me like he had a very caring face. And he had a light shining on him that made his skin almost look golden, and the light was quite golden. It was such a good feel. It made me look at him and made me, like in the moment, I remember my thoughts in the dream going, wow, you know, I need to pay attention to him. He just looks really nice. So if I'm going to describe him, he was over 6 foot. He had broad shoulders and he had a really distinct face. His features on his face were square. He had a really chiseled square jawline. Okay. And he was a solid build. So yeah, he was very distinct. He was wearing a white pressed shirt or almost like a doctor's coat. Like he looked very professional, and he was standing above me. I had to look up to him, and he just stood over me with this glow on him, and I just remembered it so clearly. I didn't forget it when I woke up, and I as I haven't forgotten it now, I'm able to tell you everything about this dream. Well, the next day I went to work as usual. I had somebody tell me about the medicinal values of sage tea. Okay, so I was really keen on this, telling me, you know, it's great for preventing cancer. They told me everything they believed about sage tea, and I said, you know what, I'm on board. I want to get myself some sage tea. You've convinced me that this is going to be good for my body, you know, for health, for general health. He was telling me where to go and purchase this sage tea. Okay, now I work in a shopping centre where there is a health shop. And I just thought to myself, I can't be bothered driving all the way down across town to this place he's suggesting. And I was super keen on the sage tea. So I thought I'll just pop into the health food shop within the shopping centre and see if they've got some. And I'll let you know, I'd never been in there before. Okay, so I go in there and I'm looking for the sage tea, and I only had like 10 minutes of my lunch break left, so I was really rushing to find this sage tea. And I was skimming all the shelves from left to right, from top to bottom. Anyway, so I'm looking on a lower shelf and couldn't find it fast enough. And I sensed the presence of somebody wanting to help me. And as I looked up, you'll never guess who I saw. The man, completely the same man that was in my dream after opening my third eye, or my pineal gland. He was standing in front of me, and I'm not a Looney Tunes here, but honestly, I looked at him and I went, oh my goodness. I said, you were literally in my dream. And he just laughed. Like, how are people going to react to that? And I said to him, please don't think I'm crazy. I'm not a crazy person. This has never happened to me before, but you were literally in my dream last night. And so we got talking about it. He said, well, what was the dream about? So I explained to him what I just explained to you. I said, you didn't do anything. It was a nice dream. You just stood there with, you know, a pleasant smile on your face. You looked nice, you know, and I described his features. He was identical. He was an identical match to what was in my dream. He had the chiseled square jaw. He had the square face. He was a solid build. He was over 6 foot tall with broad shoulders. And there I was on the ground looking for sage tea on the lower shelves, looking up to him exactly as I did in my dream. Isn't that crazy? So he proceeded to say to me, look, we should be friends. And I said, absolutely. So there's my cool story. I opened my pineal gland, my third eye, and that is what happened to me the next day. I haven't had other things happen to me so clearly since then, but I definitely feel different. I feel good. I feel amazing. I feel centered. I feel connected. You know, all these things I touched on, what can happen when you open your third eye, I definitely experienced them on all different levels. So there you go. That's my experience of opening my pineal gland. If you want to know more about it as more of a scientific thing, I recommend you to read this book. In the next episode, I'm going to talk about what this is. Okay? My mother thought it was a sign of evil. And in this book, he actually explains what all this symbolism means. And now when I see this sign, it's on everything. And actually, let me just show you this. What do you think that is? That's the pineal gland representing the third eye. See how it looks like a pine cone? That's the gland. So that gives you a little bit of an inkling of what's going on here. Okay? Anyway, that is the end of my banter today. I look forward to seeing you next time. Please subscribe, like, share this. Like, this is super cool stuff, my spiritual journey. And thanks again.